Hello and welcome to this month's Heart Bunch video presented to you by the Heart Initiative. Today we're going to talk about how parents can talk to their kids about alcohol and substance use. So the first point, I'm going to hand it over to Rachel.
Thanks, Gabby. The first thing we wanted to talk about is making sure that your child knows how you feel about underage drinking and substance misuse. And it's helpful to share a strong message of disapproval. Sometimes parents think that they're being clear, but it's not necessarily getting through as clearly to the kids. So a Utah Sharp survey from 2019 found that if kids believe that their parents strongly disapprove of underage drinking and set clear rules, then 97% choose not to drink. However, if there is any perception of acceptance or even maybe a lax attitude, up to 37% of youth will choose to drink. So be sure that you're setting those clear expectations. And if you don't know how to have a conversation about this, there's a great example in the description of this video that you can go for some examples.
Great. So the next tip is making sure your kids know the why. And so I like to start with making sure your kids know that you care about their health, wellness, and success, and that's why you don't want them to use drugs or to drink alcohol underage. There's also, besides all of the developing brain, the changes in judgment and mental health that would happen with illicit drug use, there's also the legal consequences, and let your kid know that you care about that you want them to be able to avoid legal trouble so that they're into adulthood, some of their childhood decisions don't impact them later in life. Just sharing these expectations and that it's because you love and care for your children as the reason will help your kids see that it isn't just because you're imposing adult ideas on them. It's not just because you're saying, I told you so. But it's because of love and concern. And that's your reasons for asking this of them. Tim.
Thanks, Maren. So the third thing that we wanted to share with you is make sure that your child knows that they can come and talk to you about alcohol and other drugs when they need reliable information. There's with social media and just access to the internet, we can get a lot of information, but it's not always accurate. And sometimes you just don't want them to get that information from the internet or think that they're going to rely on that kind of information from their friends. So make sure you spend time with them doing something fun and use that time to bond and build a trusting relationship. So research shows that just spending about 15 minutes a day with each child, so like if you have multiple children, spend 15 minutes a day with each child separately, and that can really help develop those bonds, those trusting bonds. And it's a great way for both of you to focus on the moment and get to know each other. And again, kind of develop that relationship so they would feel more comfortable, hopefully, with being able to come to you if they have questions and they're trying to get some reliable and accurate information.
Well, thanks, Gabby. I'm going to talk just real briefly about being involved in what your children is and are doing, if you have more than one, by focusing on their friends and where they're going, their plans and what they are trying to do at that evening or weekend, whatever it might be. Show that you care about them without making them feel smothered. You want them to not feel like you don't trust them, but you want to give them some anonymity, but also make sure that you know that you care and that you can find them if you need to. To show you're paying attention and care about what they're up to, ask about their friends and their plans. You can use the 5 W's even. Who will be there? Where are you going? Who are you going with? What are you going to be doing? When will you be home? We also talk about, will there be alcohol and other drugs? And also let them know they can contact you if there's ever any question or if they're in an uncomfortable situation or need help. Your children should feel like it's not an interrogation. It's not something you're trying to get out of them. You just want them to feel comfortable sharing that information with you. So text them if you can, see if they're around, what they're up to, get to know their friends, talk about, well, we ask you to talk with their parents, as well as your friends, that you have as well as their friends. Know what your let them know what your expectations are with your drinking, with their drinking, and if you drink, make sure you understand their expectations that you want around your lifestyle. Mess that up a little bit, but show you love your child and set expectations early in their lives. If they know you will always ask the same questions, they'll know you care and can provide that information to you, hopefully without you even asking. So we'll send it back to Gabby.
Thanks, Tim. And one of the last points that we wanted to share with you is just help your child develop a plan for dealing with an offer to use alcohol or other drugs, and have them practice it with you. Practice this together. Sometimes it's important, to be able to practice this, because even though they don't initially intend to say yes, they'll say like, no, I will refuse. In the moment, peer pressure can be such a huge factor and can be a powerful influence. So practice. So help them come up with things to say that are simple and easy to remember. This doesn't have to be like a monologue. It's not like like in the movies, you have this long 5-minute monologue where they explain everything. It doesn't have to be anything like that, but just simply think like, no, thanks, it's not my thing. Or, I have a test tomorrow and I really want to do well, or I don't want to fail. Or if they play sports and there's a game, that's something they could say, like, I have a game tomorrow, I have practice tomorrow, and I just want to feel okay for that. So have them come up with a couple of things that they could say, practice it with them, and to a point where they feel comfortable being able to just to be able to say that if they are offered alcohol or other substances. And so we just wanted to give you these talking points. There are additional things that you could say, additional types of suggestions and things that are provided by different types of resources. And so we first wanted to thank you and offer you guys a chance to just stay in touch with us. We are available on all of the social media sites. We also have a new-ish Heart playlist on YouTube. And then if you wanted to check out other types of resources, we do have some references where we got this information from, and then there's some additional resources that are going to be linked below this video that you can access as well. So again, we wanted to thank you again for your time and attention, and I guess we will see you for our next Heart Bunch video. Thanks a lot.